Dear child, you have been moving through your days like someone carrying a full cup and shaking hands, trying not to spill the worry, trying not to show how tired you really are. And when the room goes quiet, when the screen dims, when there is no task left to hide behind, your heart begins whispering what your mouth has not said. You wonder whether I have noticed how long you have been holding yourself together. You wonder whether your silence has made you harder to find. Part of you thinks, if I mattered that much, would I feel this forgotten? Another part of you thinks, I should be stronger than this by now. I should not still need comfort. I should not still be reaching. And underneath all of that, dear heart, there is a quieter ache. Please do not pass me by. So listen to me now. I have not turned my face from you. I have not become impatient with your sadness. I have not mistaken your struggle for indifference. What you call distance, I often call exhaustion. What you call failure, I often see as pain carried too long without rest. Beloved, you have been trying to survive by making yourself smaller, quieter, less needy, less visible. You have trained your own soul to apologize for its hunger. You have stood in the middle of your own life as though asking for tenderness were too much. But I did not make you to live untouched. I did not shape your heart to become a locked room. Come closer than your fear says you can. Not because you have earned closeness, but because you have always belonged near me. My dear one, when you feel ignored, you often begin ignoring yourself. You stop naming what hurts. You stop admitting what is empty. You call it being strong. You call it getting through. You call it keeping the peace. But strength is not the same as disappearing. You do not honor life by going numb. You do not protect love by pretending you need nothing. Precious one, I know the moment you are in. I know the weariness that makes you stare at the same thought for hours. I know how disappointment sits in the chest like a stone that will not move. I know how quickly old wounds wake up when one more silence meets you at the door. And I know that sometimes you are not asking for great answers. You are simply asking, will someone stay? Yes, I will. Not with cold observation, not with distant approval, not from the far side of your pain. I come near. I draw close to the places you usually cover with a smile or a shrug or a changed subject. Loved one, you do not have to impress me to be held by me. You do not have to explain every bruise before I care for you. Even now, in this very ache, I am not recoiling. You are not too much for tenderness. Your questions are not too sharp. Your weakness is not ruining my love for you. Hear me carefully, son. The fact that you still long for connection is not proof of your immaturity. It is proof that your heart is still alive. The longing itself is not your enemy. It is a doorway telling you that you were made for nearness, not neglect. And when you reach with trembling hands, I do not mock the tremble. I honor the reaching. Sweet soul, there have been times when you thought I was silent because I was displeased. But some silences are not abandonment. Some silences are the space where your tired defenses finally loosen enough to hear softer things. You have been listening for thunder, for dramatic signs, for something impossible to miss. Meanwhile, I have been speaking in the ache that keeps asking for truth, in the mercy that kept you from hardening, in the small pull that brought you here. Do not call that nothing. It matters that you are still turning inward instead of shutting down forever. It matters that some tender part of you has not given up on being found. Beloved family, I want to sincerely thank those of you who stood with us during this challenging season. Even after our YouTube demonetization and the closure of our Buy Me a Coffee account, many of you chose to understand our situation and support this ministry with faith and generosity. You did not just give support, you gave strength. In a time of uncertainty, your encouragement reminded us that this mission truly matters. Please know that God sees every act of kindness done in His name. What you have sown into this ministry is not forgotten. We pray that the Lord bless your home, guide your steps, strengthen you in every season, and reward your kindness in His perfect way and time. May His peace and favor surround you always. My child, I am not measuring you by your most depleted hour. I am not calling you a burden because you are worn thin. You have been living as if love must be rationed, as if affection must be justified, as if comfort belongs only to those who are useful and composed. That is not my way with you. I do not come to you like an employer with a review. I come to you like a father who knows his son has been carrying more than he says. And I am not offended that you are asking for nearness. I am moved by it. Dear heart, there is a difference between being ignored and feeling unseen through the fog of hurt. Right now, both feel the same to you. So let me separate them gently. There are moments when people failed to notice your sorrow. That was real. There were times when your words were met with less care than they deserved. That was real too. I will not call your pain imaginary just to make it easier to soothe. But do not build your whole identity inside those moments. Do not take the carelessness of others and carve it into your name. You are not the one left behind. You are not the son no one stops for. You are not the afterthought. You are mine, and I have never spoken of you as something easy to forget. Beloved, the wound of being overlooked often teaches a cruel lesson. Ask for less, need less, say less. So you learn to wait in corners. You learn to offer half your heart. You learn to prepare for disappointment before comfort even had a chance to arrive. And then, when love did come near, you doubted it. You wondered how long it would last. You wondered what it would cost. This is why your spirit feels tired, not only because life has been hard, but because vigilance is exhausting. Always scanning, always bracing, always assuming absence. My dear one, you do not have to keep standing guard against tenderness. Not here. Set down the inner argument for a moment. Set down the performance. Set down the old sentence that says you will always be too late, too broken, too distant to be welcomed. That sentence did not come from me. I know how often you have swallowed your need. I know how often you have acted unbothered while quietly unraveling. I know how often you have stood still on the outside while storms moved through you unseen. That is enough of that lonely pretending. Come as you are coming, weak, uncertain, guarded, aching. Come with mixed motives. Come with unfinished prayers. You do not have to arrive polished to be met with warmth. Precious one, I am not asking you to solve your whole life tonight. I am not placing a heavy lesson on top of your already heavy heart. This moment is simpler than that. I am asking you not to pass by the hand extended toward you, not to turn away just because you are ashamed of how deeply you need it. Need is not disgrace. Dependence is not failure. Being touched by love does not make you weak. The strongest parts of you were never meant to grow in isolation. Think of a small fire nearly gone to ash. It does not need accusation. It needs shelter from the wind and one steady warmth near it. So too with your spirit, loved one. It has not gone cold because it is worthless. It has grown faint because too much weather reached it at once. Let me cup that fragile flame without shame, without hurry, without scolding. You have spent enough time mistaking your depletion for proof that something is wrong with your soul. Something is wrong, yes, but not with your worth. What is wrong is that you have gone too long without gentleness, and I am gentleness without contempt. Sweet soul, You fear that if you stop striving, everything will collapse. You fear that if you admit your emptiness, you will be met with silence again. You fear that if you lean into care, it will vanish the moment you believe in it. These fears did not appear from nowhere. They were shaped by real disappointments, by delayed answers, by rooms where your ache was not understood. But fear does not get the final word over your future. Your story is not locked inside what once failed you. Your heart can learn a kinder rhythm than constant defense. And that kinder rhythm begins here, not in perfection, but in permission. Permission to stop acting untouched. Permission to be honest about the ache. Permission to want closeness without punishing yourself for it. My child, I am gentle with the places in you that still do not know how to rest. I am patient with the part of you that flinches before comfort lands. I do not take that flinch personally. I understand where it came from. I understand the history in your nerves, the old disappointments in your shoulders, the caution hidden in your jaw. You have learned to anticipate loss before peace can settle. No wonder calm feels unfamiliar. No wonder tenderness feels risky. But peace does not have to arrive loudly to be real. Sometimes it comes like dawn entering a room that thought night would never finish. Not sudden, not dramatic. Just steady light touching one corner, then another, until the whole space changes. That is how I work with many wounded hearts. Not by forcing them open, but by staying long enough for safety to become believable. Dear heart, I am staying. When you have no beautiful words, I remain. When all you can offer is a tired glance upward and a heart full of tangled feelings, I remain. When you feel ashamed for needing reassurance again, I remain. When you fear you have asked for too much, I remain. This is not fragile affection, this is faithful love. Faithful love does not keep score while you are bleeding. Faithful love does not stand at the doorway waiting for you to clean the wound alone. It kneels, it tends, it stays through the trembling. Beloved, you may have believed that maturity meant never reaching upward, never leaning, never asking to be held. No. Maturity is honest dependence. It is knowing where life comes from and no longer being embarrassed to seek it. There is nothing childish about wanting a hand to meet yours. There is something deeply whole in it, because you were not formed for self-made peace. You were made for relationship, for living contact, for love that is more than an idea. My dear one, do you know what often keeps you from comfort? Not lack of love, lack of permission. You keep waiting to deserve consolation. You keep waiting until your thoughts are cleaner, your habits steadier, your heart less conflicted. But if comfort arrived only for the composed, who would survive? Mercy comes precisely where strain has told the truth about human limits. I am not embarrassed by your limits. I built your frame. I understand what tireless pretending has cost you. You do not have to earn the right to be gathered in again. Loved one, there is also this. Sometimes you think you are ignoring me because you are distracted, slow, hesitant, spiritually numb. But much of what you call ignoring has really been overwhelm. A crowded mind, an overworked body, a discouraged heart. You have not been cold on purpose, you have been flooded. So I am not coming to you with accusation, I am coming with understanding. I know the difference between rebellion and fatigue, and I know yours. Yes, there are places where I will lead you into honesty. Yes, there are habits that have kept you from peace. But even correction with me is never humiliation. I do not heal by crushing. I do not restore by shaming. I do not call you closer only to remind you how far you fell. I call you closer so you can feel what has been true all along: you are deeply wanted. Precious one, listen beneath your fear. There is a steadier voice there, a truer one. It says your life is not an interruption. It says your tenderness is not a flaw. It says your need for nearness does not make you hard to love. And it says that reaching for my hand is not the act of someone failing. It is the act of someone returning to what holds. Returning does not always look heroic. Sometimes it looks like stillness. Sometimes it looks like tears you finally stop apologizing for. Sometimes it looks like one honest sentence after many numb days. Do not despise small turnings. A whole life can begin changing inside one unguarded moment. Sweet soul, you have spent long enough thinking peace must be chased. Often it is welcomed. It enters when you stop arguing with the fact that you are loved. It enters when you stop defending yourself from care that is already being offered. It enters when you stop calling your hunger weakness and start naming it what it is. The wish to be held close and made steady. That wish is safe with me. My child, I know you want certainty that everything will be fixed at once. You want one moment of contact to untangle every fear, repair every loss, quiet every memory. Sometimes healing is slower than that. But slower does not mean absent. Gentle does not mean weak. Unfolding does not mean forgotten. Much is being restored even when all you notice is that you are a little less numb than yesterday. Honor that. A softer heart is not a small thing. A tear after months of dryness is not a small thing. The willingness to stop hiding for even a breath of time is not a small thing. These are signs of life coming back to the surface. Beloved, do not be afraid of how much this matters to you. The depth of your longing does not make you needy beyond love. It reveals the depth of the place where love is meant to land. And I have never been reluctant to come near that place. Even now, as you listen, as something in you softens, as your guarded heart tries to decide whether this can really be trusted, I am not withdrawing. I am here in the waiting, here in the questions, here in the ache that is slowly becoming known. You do not have to force calm. You do not have to manufacture faith. You do not have to push yourself into some perfect feeling. Simply stop running from the tenderness that has found you. Dear heart, rest your inner weight for a moment. Not forever solved, not forever explained, just rested. There is enough mercy for this minute, enough closeness for this breath of time, enough steadiness for the part of you that thought it had to carry itself alone. I am holding open a quiet place for your soul, not a stage, not a test, a place to unclench, a place where your worth is not under debate, a place where your tiredness is met with care, not critique, a place where your reaching is answered. My dear one, you do not have to fear that I will tire of this conversation. I do not grow weary of reassuring a beloved son. The world may rush you. Others may misunderstand the depth of what you carry. Even you may grow frustrated with how often this ache returns. But I am not rolling my eyes at your need for comfort. I am not saying again. I am saying, yes, come closer again. Because love repeats itself without becoming false. Love stays available. Love does not resent the wounded for needing warmth more than once. So when the old thought rises, the one that says you are being ignored, the one that says you have drifted too far, the one that says your heart is too complicated now, answer it with what is truer. You are being called nearer. You are being met in your weariness. You are being welcomed without harshness. Loved one, rest here a little longer, not as someone begging for scraps, but as a son drawing near to steady kindness. The hand before you is not offered in hesitation. It is offered with full knowing. Knowing your fears, knowing your history, knowing your tired habits, knowing your need, and still offered. Take that in slowly. No pretending, no bargaining, no hidden price. Just love, strong enough to remain gentle, steady enough to remain near, tender enough to touch what you thought had to stay guarded forever. Precious one, you do not have to make yourself brighter before you come close. You do not have to solve the sadness before you are soothed. You do not have to prove your sincerity before you are welcomed. You are welcome because you are loved. You are loved because love began in me, not in your performance. And tonight, or this morning, or in whatever quiet hour finds you, let that truth sit beside you like a warm presence by the hearth, steady, unhurried, without demand. Let it be enough for now, that you do not have to keep bracing. Enough that you do not have to keep fading to survive. Enough that there is a faithful nearness meeting you exactly where you are. Sweet soul, be still in that. You are not reaching into emptiness. You are reaching toward one who has been turned toward you the whole time. And as the noise softens, as the strain in you loosens by degrees, as your heart remembers what safety feels like, know this quiet promise. I will not slip away from your grasp. I will not shame your need for comfort. I will not treat your tenderness as something inconvenient. Stay here in the hush a little while. Let your weary spirit settle. Let your guarded places unclench. Let your heart learn again that closeness can be kind. My child, even when your thoughts wander, even when your strength feels thin, even when words fail you, my nearness does not fail. So rest, dear heart. The hand reaching for yours is still here, and I remain here with you. Amen. Beloved family, a lot of prayer, time, and effort goes into creating these messages. We continue this work with faith and dedication. If you feel led to support this ministry, you can find the support link in the description and in the comment box below. May God bless you abundantly.